Alright, hey guys, welcome to the Warlord review. This is Arcane Duels, I'm Koshade. We have the wonderful Puddinhead joining us today, Mr. Sharkbait, and
Hello.
Of course we have Matt Ash on the forums.
Hello.
One of the main designers. I don't actually know your official title, but
Set designer.
set designer. I'm sorry.
That's right. Get it right.
It's officially official.
The guy that created the cards. So we're going to be doing 3 videos of the review of this, and we're just going to cover all the cards, and we're going to include cards that, we'll talk about how they synergize with cards that may not have been brought up yet, and the assumption is that you know all the cards, we just want to talk about them.
Yeah.
So I guess, let's just start with the Mage Stat card.
Mage Stat card.
Yeah, so the set is out. It did come out at Gen Con as a preview. But I believe the actual set is slated to be released in September on the Arcane Winter site.
Yeah, I think so. I think I saw pre-orders available in September sometime.
Okay. So, I mean, this is Academy, so obviously 40 spell points is very standard. 24 life is pretty decent. No starting mana, which usually indicates that it's a pretty powerful, it has a lot of stuff that syncs well, or it has some powerful cards in it.
Yeah, those battle orders are really good with more creatures.
Yeah.
So
It usually has to do with how powerful the ability is. For example, Warlock has a really powerful ability, so no starting mana.
actually, this one
Warlord.
is not triple anything.
Yeah, Warlord has a pretty strong ability. It does cost you 3 mana, but it is a command spell, which you can get a discount on, and it also gives you a discount for having a formation out there. So you could theoretically get this for 1 mana fairly consistently.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
especially with the cape and the ring, all that stuff.
And you had all that stuff in, and some of the mages benefiting from said battle order
Yeah.
Yeah.
for 1 mana.
I guess, should we talk about, Academy and then go into Arena, or do we want to just
Sure.
mix it all together? Obviously,
Yeah,
this
Or we
is-
could just go on a per card basis, talk about
Okay.
Academy for that card, then Arena for that card.
Yeah, that works.
Well, obviously the arena part of this stat card is really easy.
You won't
It
use
should
it.
be done. It's not likely.
I mean,
Dude,
so
I will take some people on with this guy in Arena.
I have a couple of times played Academy books with a half-size Arena board, and it's pretty fun.
It does sound like
I would actually love to see some sort of fan group just convert these cards into an arena just for funsies, and just see what you can do to balance it properly.
The mage cards.
Yeah.
honestly like a normal the apprentice arena with
Oh yeah.
40
Yeah.
spellbook points could be an interesting time actually. How did that go?
Well, when
Yeah.
I've done it, it's pretty fun. Obviously, it lacks a lot of. There's nothing to stop movement because it's all Academy cards. But by doing that, also you can hypothetically use any arena cards too. If you
Oh, that's
did
cool.
that, it's
And that
unofficial
sounds
format,
nice.
obviously.
Yeah.
But even the official apprentice mode, each mage starts out with 24 health and 10 channeling and 60 spellbook points. So you're not stretching too far.
Yeah, you're not too far off.
So really quick, I mean, obviously the difference is trained in war versus having a triple spell points and earth. I mean, there's only 2 earth spells now in Academy, so that's not really the biggest of deals. Is there 2? Is there more than 2? I think there's just 2.
I believe those are the only 2.
And of course, him not having triple for Arcane means he can do things like disperse and not have to worry about it.
Right.
Um,
You could have him running shrink or giant strength or giant
Yeah.
size.
which all
Yeah, it's fun.
synergize pretty well with his layout.
Yeah.
Man, could you imagine a giant sized Isabella?
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
We're gonna-
I mean, we'll get to Zambia later, but
Torgo can't be
I mean,
giant
basically
sized.
with his battle orders,
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
and with his battle orders, you're probably always going to have a formation revealed, so it's probably always going to cost you 2. I mean, especially it being basically a cantrip, and you being able to become a soldier if you just have one of the creature, 2 mana for melee 2, it seems pretty reasonable to me.
For what's worth, the technicalities, he's not a soldier, but it does benefit. It's an important distinction because you don't benefit from other soldier benefits.
Yes. Specifically the formations or...
It's a learning from past cards type scenario where you have done that in the past and it has caused mild shenanigans that players can pull that I definitely don't want.
Transfusion.
Yes, I definitely don't want to encourage that kind of shenanigans.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, I guess
let's move on.
Yep. Okay. So Kessler Ranger.
Man.
What I'm liking are these dual school cards. I think that was like a really cool idea to sort of be like, nature's gonna get a little thing. It's not gonna be like a main strategy they'll use, but they have the option of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of the first thing that sort of pops in my head about it.
Well, I mean, you see the Academy Beastmaster. He does not have anything ranged other than Kajara, which is his own full attack. So, having something that can help him focus fire behind a guard, or get that creature that he wounded really bad, but then got guarded, get it knocked out.
Especially like comboing that with like the cloak. You can always put a guard, one of your friendly creatures on guard after your action. That helps her get that piercing 1 combo.
It's an interesting combo with the Package Cal, yeah.
It's true.
I hadn't thought of that one, actually.
It's nice.
Anybody else try that?
I mean, this will also work for a priestess that has temple sentries. Or you could put a temple sentry in your warlord just to make sure that you get that and can attack with the other ones.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the obvious things are that with a scout, she can combo to get 3 dice piercing 1. She can gain that piercing 2 off of the fire at will.
Yep.
I mean, she has all sorts of nice little buffs for Academy to make her nice.
Yep.
Agreed.
And the best thing for Arena about this creature is the quick ranged attack.
Yes.
Now you can move.
So
you can move away and shoot, or you can move toward and shoot. And
it's not a huge amount of dice, but you can buff it.
You can just plink it away. Just plink it away. It's fine. And if you have especially a Bloodwave Warlord with the Horn of Gothos on there, you can just make sure that you get that 3 dice all the time.
That's true. Or you can get extra piercing with a dwarf.
That's true.
When we get to it later, there's a certain formation that benefits that strategy too.
I mean, we can talk about it now if we want.
Yeah, I mean, that's fully intentional to have a legion of archers with fire at will and being able to pump out battle orders to them. You can have a fairly mobile regiment of ranged soldiers.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a cool idea. I haven't got a chance to try that one too much yet.
You could have 2 fire at wills around in Arena, right? So you could, as long as you didn't go into the same zone.
So let's just take really quickly, do an aside for formations in Arena since we're talking about it. Yes, you could technically have, every zone could have a formation in it if you wanted to. Just the way it works, I'm not looking at the rulebook directly, so this is kind of paraphrased, is if at any point in time there are 2 revealed, 2 or more, more than one, I guess, more than one revealed friendly formation in a zone, you have to turn down the other ones. You have to turn down all but one. So, yes, you can have multiple out. You could be flanking with 2 groups of archers with 2 fire at wills as long as they're in separate zones. You can do some interesting things with it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy, actually.
So the trick with fire at will is that if you put all of your archers in one spot, they will get wiped out. Just as a matter of course, there's Pillar of Righteous Flame, there's Tsunami, there's any AoE attack spell, even Force Wave into a wall. I mean, they're not very healthy little archers. But having 2 mobile groups of fire at will rangers will definitely increase your odds of some of them surviving and getting everybody to get to +1.
And something you can do also is have mixed groups of soldiers traveling. You could have one or two ranged guys and one or two melee guys, and you have a couple formations in the zone, and you flop them throughout the round. They're very cheap to reveal. So you could have, let's say you have a zone with, let's say an interceptor and two archers of some kind. You could have Fire of Will, pop off your shots with your archers. Then when you activate your intercept guy, maybe you flip up whatever formation is on him, and he gets some defensive benefits or something.
Do dig in or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dig in.
Yeah, I really like how she combos well with Dig In versus Fire at Will, because like depending on the level of creature that she's shooting at, she'd want one or the other. Just because Dig In helps get those guards out.
We're big fans of formation swapping too. It's just kind of like a stance dance, for lack of a better word. I like that. It's cool.
Like a whole army stance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I think we should just move on from here.
Yep.
I dig her a lot. I'm curious to see if we'll see those quick actions happen in Arena.
Yeah, putting this together with Noble Vanguards is going to be really fun.
Yeah.
It's interesting idea.
So moving on to Royal Armorer. It was a promo card that got released. Another dual school. He is just waiting for combos. Like, really. You know, he makes Angels better, which, you know, people don't run Angels because they're very expensive mana-wise.
And they have low armor.
Yeah,
and they have low armor. But I could see something like him with, like Valshalla, for instance, giving her 2 armor, Aegis 1, and then if he dies, it's sort of like, cool, more wrath for her. I mean, he works really well in any holy book.
I definitely put the armor on Cassio.
Cassio, that would be a good choice as well.
I like putting it into my orc wall. Butcher,
Get those orc butchers to
armor.
have 2 armor.
Yeah, have them, and then if they kill something, they get a 3rd.
Yep, and if they get promoted, they get a 4th.
Yeah, so that could be kind of nuts.
I mean, even as a necromancer, you're only spending 2 points, and you know, you're basically saying like my skeleton sentries, the knights, having 2 armor. That's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, even the minions,
especially with how efficient Reconstruct is.
Yeah. I mean, skeletons tend to have lower armor but higher life, and this guy combos so well with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think those are all good examples of where this can come in a lot of books.
I mean, that being said,
Academy, you know.
I mean, even as like just as a level 1 creature, 5 mana for 1 armor, 6 life is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
In terms of like survivability
and
being
he
able
can
to guard.
Pay a mana the next turn to give himself an armor.
Right.
That's a good point, actually.
I mean, like,
I agree that.
Like as a Holy Avenger, like you're looking at 1 armor, 11 life, with on the Avenge it's gonna be 3 dice piercing too. That's not necessarily bad for a 7 mana creature.
And I know we'll get to it later, but he obviously combos very well with Harshforged Knight.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Oh yeah, that's a great point actually. Yeah.
So I mean, basically, I could see this guy getting used in Academy,
All kinds of stuff.
Priestess, and Warlord. Like that's like, okay, you're gonna go with this strategy because he's that kind of guy that like makes people survive.
He can make the Disciple of Radiance even worse.
I personally, when I was testing this, I like to do a Priestess in Academy with this guy, comboing it with Circle of Light, with the healing staff as well. That you get non-action healing. So suddenly you're looking at 3 armor on every creature with this dude. Or, 2 to 3 armor. Plus you get passive healing of at least 2 dice. Or 1 dice and guaranteed 1 around.
Yeah. Always running in Torgo.
Yeah. There's just so many. Like, he's just a really cool support dude that we don't really see a lot in Mage Wars.
Yep.
Truth. Alright, which one we got next?
Alright. Elven Soldier.
The backbone of your Academy army.
He is your baseline soldier.
Nothing flashy, but he's strong.
Let me ask you guys something. Does he replace Grunt? Goblin Grunt?
Yeah.
to replace something, it has to be there in the first place.
Fair enough.
I would say the only time you would use grunt over him is if you're doing a goblin strategy with Slacknear.
Okay.
I can see that. I mean, the extra die on the grunt's kind of nice, but
It is. It's true.
and the less mana.
I think I would add him in addition to grunts.
Ooh.
I might. So I run like 4 grunts in my warlord right now, so I would probably run about 3 and 3. I think.
Okay.
I can see that.
I mean, he obviously comes well with the royal armor, but we just saw going up 2 armor, 6
Right.
life for 5 mana. It's like ridiculous.
The reason I would run them both is because the grunt is there to do the damage, and the soldier can make sure
okay.
it sticks around.
That's one option. That or one or the other can guard the other one.
Yeah.
That's what I would use them. They're nice, not flashy frontline soldiers.
That baseline piercing +1 is pretty good too.
Yep.
That means he's going to be better equipped to deal with other level 1 creatures than other level 1 creatures are going to be to deal with him.
So, what kind of formations would you think about using him with him? Like, I
Depends
guess
on how many there are.
Yeah, I guess I like have a debate between like all out attack versus dig in with this guy.
So I think the difference, if we're talking academy, I really like dig in with this guy because it basically gives him vigilant. Because for 1 mana, you can attack with him, do a couple damage, then pay 1 mana to put him on guard.
I like that as well.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
good.
press the attack with a bunch of these guys out.
Yeah. Digging is nice, but I might run form ranks with him.
I was gonna say form ranks is the
Honestly.
other option I was looking at right now.
Well, I think form ranks against certain matchups isn't especially good, but if you're playing against somebody else who's doing a bunch of level 1 dudes, form ranks is great because they're only going to get a couple damage through on an attack, and you'll be able to basically split that attack across two soldiers. And if you have like area healing, like if you run a group mend or something, after damage has been spread out a little bit, you throw that out and negate their last 4 attacks.
Dang, yeah.
You know, you can get pretty. Yeah.
I suppose I would use form ranks with temple sentries,
It's
Okay.
a good idea too.
That's
because
fair.
it just said they have
Yeah.
3 armor on guard, and it's likely that only about 2 damage will get through, and then you can spread them out.
Yeah, and they'll last forever.
Yeah.
I actually like using those with the goblins too. The goblin.
Would
Legion
you
guy.
guys use promotion on this guy?
Probably not.
I'm thinking promotions generally. This isn't too hard and fast rule, but generally for level 2s and above.
That's fair.
Something that has a
Yeah.
chance of sticking around for longer.
That being said, I mean, another armor and another melee on this guy makes him pretty good.
It basically makes him like a level 2, like really good level 2.
Yeah, but for
Not
2
really good,
more
it's 6 life.
or for 2 more men about 2 more men, I can just get another one.
It's true,
So
but it's
Thank
not
you.
a full action.
true.
I missed what we changed to. Sorry, my phone blew up. What's up?
Oh no, we're on Eleven Soldier sale.
Okay, just making sure.
We're just talking about promotion, whether it's worth it on promotion.
Promotion.
I generally don't think so, but
I
yeah,
usually run in academy. I run 1 promotion, and I usually try to stick it on my biggest level 2 creatures. Obviously, the better.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The biggest creature you can put it on. I will say promotion, although it can totally be used in arena.
Yeah.
I think it is primarily an academy card, because most of the time in arena, promoting a level 2, if they still get hit by a level 4, it doesn't matter much.
Yeah.
And that's going to be pretty common in arena.
all right.
But basically,
So-
promotion. The goal of promotion was to give a what's the Bloodwave Warlord's ability where he has the
Veteran
token?
token.
It's basically an enchantment veteran token that doesn't have as stiff of a requirement to add it because
Yeah.
you're casting a spell.
I mean, I guess if I were to use him in arena, I'd probably want to do like Bloodwave with like royal armor, and what I'd probably aim for is so like he would be my counter to if they swarm kind of thing. Like I'd run like 3 or 4 of these guys, and if they swarm, I'd have a slight edge because he's really good level 1, and then I'd hope to get those vet tokens to sort of just like override everything they're doing.
Talking about the soldier again.
Yeah, Bowman Soldier.
Yeah.
Well, that's the card.
I don't know if I'd armory, but I'd probably banner. You know.
I do think that if your strategy is running a lot of solid high level 1s, high level 2s, I could see it being used if you're mixing it with things like form ranks. I could see you running several promotions with it.
Your value sort of just stacks up enough. I guess let's just move on.
All right.
Straightwood Scout. Another one of those dual schools.
I like this one a lot.
No,
It's a
baseline,
recurring theme with the Wood Elves is that they're dual school.
and they have quick attacks.
Yes. Wanted to give them their own little theme.
Baseline, this is exactly the same as the Kelsa Ranger, except for the ability.
Yeah, I like the ability a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the ability to combo so well with everything else that the Warlord has right now.
It comes well with everyone.
I mean, Matt was just talking about, using things like the banner and stuff like that. You have more value as you have more creatures. And this guy kind of is like that in a lot of ways. Just the more creatures you have, the better this is going to be.
It helps you alpha strike a big dude down pretty quick too. Like if they have a Mageddon or something and you really want to beat it up real fast. He's really strong, but he also has a huge target on his head as soon as he comes into play.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to keep alive in arena.
Yeah, so I guess so let's just talk about it for Academy really quick. What sort of formations are you guys thinking when this guy is out?
Depends on what the rest of the board state is. I feel like he combos well with press the attack. 2 extra dice on pick a creature, any creature. Oh, that thing's done.
With the reroll.
Yeah. Make the most out of the extra dice you get.
Oh yeah, okay.
I mean,
can see that.
I think he combos really well with that and fire at will or firing line, whatever we wind up naming it. If he works well with a ranged push or a melee push, anytime you're pushing the more creatures you have, obviously, the better he is. He's a living marked for death that's in school for 2 other schools that marked for death isn't.
Interestingly,
marked for death doesn't exist in Academy.
I'll say, interestingly, he's also really good with Heartsforge Construct.
Oh god, he's so good.
That's
at that.
true.
Because you can get extra expensive spells knocked off with that thing.
I actually run this guy in my Force Master with all the Force constructs.
I've got it in
Oh, that is so evil.
I've got an idea with Jotari that because you do Wounded Prey and this guy, pick something and dies.
If we're talking arena, I will point out that his ability has no range, but it does require him to target, so it does require line of sight.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting actually because in Academy he's obviously more open because there's no zones, but the scout in arena is suddenly like very safe.
Yeah,
if you just put him in a corner and just like he just chills there.
Yeah, I mean you're
and
still
you
gonna
look
have to deal with obscured and walls and
Yeah,
stuff.
well,
but-
yeah.
But you look at especially bigger game mode variants where the board's bigger. You can sit him in a corner and force them to block line of sight because they can't deal with him at that range.
That's a good point. Like if you force them to cast a wall, this guy costs you 1 solo point, 5 mana, and if they have to put a wall in a disadvantageous position, then it's like, all right, you kind of evened out, but now you have a creature that you can just sort of move around.
Yeah, he can take orbs for you in domination if he's not targeting something.
Good point.
Wait,
It is his full action to do it though, so it is important that he cannot move and mark something. So if they do block line of sight somehow, your next action with him is going to be moving, and if you're lucky, something's in range, moving and attacking. But most of the time, it's just going to be moving in arena if you block him off, because he's super squishy. You obviously don't want to put him in the fray.
Right.
Yeah.
So, would you guys use him with Druid?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Trying to think of something you wouldn't use him with.
Is this kind of like a card that you guys are saying that like he might just get used in nature and war in general?
He is strong enough to go even out of school, like Force Master.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I think he's almost not necessarily, almost an auto-include in Nature and War books. So Warlord, Paladin, Beastmaster, Druid, all of them, he's going to see a lot of play. But I think he's good enough, like Marked for Death, that you're going to see him out of school a lot. I think you're going to see that combo of both of those cards a lot in Arena, where you mark the mage and try to use the scout to do it again, because then you're getting +2 dice from every creature against that target.
This will buff zombies.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean,
scouting for the zombie.
I mean, like with like Goblin Legionnaire and stuff like that, this guy combos with them so well.
Oh yeah, the Legion.
You know, just sending them in an academy and being like, just kill that thing. And
you do have to look at out of school. He's super easy to take care. I mean, he's super easy to take care of anyway. I'm just saying, out of school, you're not going to run multiple of them, most likely. So a well-placed attack spell can take him down from quite a range. So
yeah, he's only got 5 health, so.
Or a bigger creature, like a level 3-4 creature, if they can get in range of him, can take him out pretty easily. It's when you play him, I think, is important. I think in Arena, he's more of a late game play. Hopefully, maybe from a spawn point in the back, if you have one that can spawn him. That way, he's not in the fray, but he's still giving a bunch of bang for the buck.
Yeah, the nature mages are going to have trouble spawn pointing him, but the warlords at least can drop him out.
Yeah, I think he's actually going to be the safest in a druid. Because you have all those vines slowing people down, and all of a sudden your Thorn Lashers are rolling 4 dice on stuff instead of just 3.
Man. You know, if they want to go after your tree and you have the scout there, suddenly it's like, all right, I get to punish you that much harder right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Those vine snappers going to hurt.
Yeah. I mean, not to mention that, you know, if you have 2 attack spells, you get that 2 extra die. Things like that is so good.
All right, Matt, next set, we need to have one of these types of guys that increases your effect die chance.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So there actually was another spell in testing that synergized with this guy we had to take out because it proved to be too strong in Academy. So I think if we added something that comboed with him, it'd have to be an Arena card to not be ridiculous. But we had another spell that actually had the same... This was worded different at the time. But they both, at that time, applied scout markers or something to that effect. They had the same name token, and the other ability gave piercing to the thing. So only one of the 2 things had to mark it, and then you got both abilities.
Depending on who's out. That's pretty
cool. It was really awesome, but admittedly too strong, so it had to come out.
Yeah, playtesting, it works.
You know, like if you make the enemy waste an attack spell on him, and you're in school, like, that's a success. Like, that's so nice, you know?
That's true.
And with 5 life, it's like a level 2 attack spell. We'll have to kill them.
So would you brace yourself or gator toughness or block this guy?
Absolutely not.
Dodge.
It depends on how late in the game it is and what you're looking at. I do know in some Arena testing I have seen you often stick them in the zone with your mage if you're in the back. If you're not a frontline mage, and you often have an interceptor in there. So you're double protecting whatever they want to hit. You can stop it a lot of the time. So there are ways to protect them that aren't going out of your way. I do think going out of your way to protect a 5-mana creature is a little weird, though.
Dodge isn't that expensive. That's one of those I can see happen. But yeah, you're right. Aside from that,
I would love to see a necromancer be like Straywood Scout, mark for death, and his zombies are just like 8 dice brutes.
Zombie frenzy.
Oh my god, it's zombie frenzy.
Well, the cool thing is too, if they kill it, you can raise it as a zombie.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then it can use a full round action again.
Are we good with this card? Anybody else want to add anything?
I think we're good on that one, but yeah, there's a lot of fun ideas that we can go on that one.
Yeah,
I
he's
want to
such
point
a
out
cool
one
card.
thing with him. Just one more quick thing with him is that his disadvantage versus Marked for Death. He has an advantage and a disadvantage. His advantage is he can change targets every round. He doesn't have to stay on the same one. His disadvantage is he has to take a creature action to do it. So it's not in play from the beginning of the round. You can't get any benefit from him during first quick cast. And if you want to benefit all your creatures, you have to use your first action to use him.
True.
That's a good point. Absolutely.
Yep.
Just adding to the amount of tactical decisions the Warlord can make now.
Right.
Which is one of my favorite things this set does.
All right, moving on. Goblin Legionnaire. This is one of
Love
the cards
this
that we
guy.
didn't spoil, and I'm kind of glad we didn't because it's a really cool card.
Yeah, these guys are sweet.
So, I had a question for the designer.
Yes.
With this guy, if he comes out of your barracks, your mage casts the rest of them, right?
Your mage does cast the rest of them, but they are summoned in the same zone as the first one.
Okay.
So I know it's kind of weird, weird wording. I was trying. The original block of text on here was like super tiny font because it was much longer. I simplified it. In Academy, it has no effect on the game,
Yeah.
whichever way it is summoned. In Arena, it makes it a little wonky, but it helps keep the card simple, which was important for a 3-mana level 1 Academy spell, was it needed to not be too complicated.
That makes sense.
Right.
No walls of text. At least no worse than it is.
Walls of text.
But basically, when you summon this guy, you can summon another one by paying just 1 more mana to get another full action for the round, which is really sweet.
Obviously, your
so-
most bang for the buck is doing 2 more, so 8 more mana to get 2 more. So you're gaining a full action. I think, if I remember correctly, the math on this guy is he's actually like a 2.5 mana creature, 2.25 mana creature. So if you just cast him and don't extend him, for lack of a better word, he's not worth it. When you
He's
do
got
2,
extend.
well, the original version of him had extend. Like it was just I was making
That's
it
so
so
cool.
extend worked
Yeah.
on creatures. But when you cast the second one, it's about breaking even. And if you cast all 3, you're gaining significant amount
Okay.
because of the action gain versus the mana.
Right.
Because there is a mana conversion there when we build cards, as we look at what actions are you getting out of what additional actions are you getting, how much mana is that worth.
Yeah.
This guy is kind of odd, and part of the reason I was able to keep his cost down was because he is so incredibly easy to kill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like a falcon will one-shot it. That's how easy.
Volley of flame.
Volley of flame. Yes.
The worst zone attack in the world can kill several of them.
A Psylocke could take this guy out.
Sound could beat him real hard.
Moongold Fairy would take him out.
But when you start comboing him with formations and battle orders and things, he can become a force to be reckoned with in numbers. He obviously combos well with Slacknear.
Form ranks.
Obviously
are great.
combos
Let's
well
start
with
with
the scout
Academy.
we were just talking about. Yeah.
Let's start with the Academy first.
Form ranks.
I mean, this guy is not a pest, and he's very cheap. That's one big advantage I just see right away. You can get multiple guys out, and they can be guards or attacking, or they can be a bunch of stuff.
It's true. It's true.
The hardest thing about him in Academy, in my opinion, is the cost.
Yeah. Because 11 mana for 3 creatures isn't terrible, but having 11 at any one given time is tough.
It's true.
That's very true.
And the fact that the counters on him, on killing 3 of them, are usually a lot cheaper than casting 3 of them. But you are getting more creatures for 1 action, which this is the only card in Academy currently that lets you get additional creatures
That's so crazy.
without extra actions. There's no spawn points in Academy. There's no familiars. So this is currently...
So like,
There might be another... This is currently definitely the only one for creatures. I think there might be something else for another spell. I know there's definitely one in testing.
So let's talk offense here. Like, it costs 3 mana for battle orders. Let's just say you spend a round getting 3 of these guys out. Suddenly they all have melee 1. You have press the attack on. Suddenly you have 4 dice each. That's not including things like Stray with Scout to combo as well. But I mean, suddenly going up to 4 dice, or 12 dice total, I should say, out of 3 creatures, I think is pretty good. Not to mention there's also ways to get free actions and stuff like that.
Sorry.
No, go on.
I was like, in Academy,
That's
you
what-
do turn 1 cape, turn 2 3 legions, turn 3 battle orders.
Yeah, and you're just like gonna pummel something down.
It's a bunch of extra dice.
You're going to lose one of them before it gets to act, though.
That's fair.
Nah, well, maybe.
I actually like him
You
a little
are.
better after you
Good as
have
guard.
a little bit of a defense. I think the opening I was doing with them in testing was you got out 2 Elven soldiers first to guard,
Yeah.
block. Then you got 3 of these guys out. Then you did formations and battle orders and stuff to buff them up. And you could get, upwards of 5-ish attacks around from your creatures that are all buffed.
Yeah.
They're all throwing 4 dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to protect them. You have to hope your opponent is not running a zone attack, which exist in Academy, but are not super popular. But
Yeah.
maybe this guy
Yeah,
will drive
absolutely.
them into being more popular in Academy because people will be concerned about it.
I mean,
can see that happening.
Forcemaster has that, like, "Blah, I'm just gonna kill everything, zone attack.
All of them
Yeah,
have their own
really
versions
dig
of.
that
They
one.
just don't run them.
Yeah, because the Forcemaster's
I-
the good one.
I do definitely see people hitting these with a sweeping attack or with
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
an arcane missiles type spell over a zone attack because they are so squishy.
If there's a way to make somebody take damage for hitting your creatures or something like that, these would be amazing.
True.
Because they'd get to the point where
Some sort of
you
Florence.
don't want them to keep hitting you, but they have to waste an attack
Right.
on them.
So I know it's Arena and we're talking about Academy, but I think these guys are fun with Altar of Sacrifice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice little buffs.
Getting a little melee 1, piercing 1 every round. Let's just talk about Arena, I guess. Slacknear is obviously a thing, and I could see these guys getting elusive with like an Anvil Throne, giving everyone fast, being like a sudden rush, or if you're playing Bloodwave or whatever, you could use Akira's Battlecry, and
Or
suddenly
just
they're
the charge battle order from the Bloodwave.
yeah, or that, and like
I
with
think-
the charge, for instance, you're looking
I
at
think these guys become especially good when you're playing against somebody who doesn't have a large number of creatures, because you
Yeah.
can get a creature advantage, and you can send them out across the board to destroy their conjurations or whatever, because they're not
That's
going
crazy.
to be chasing down 3
This
different
little
goblins you
mob is
cast
good
in
against
action.
those kind of solo mages.
These guys will take out a force field.
Like, that's what I was thinking too.
Of course, they get sweeping death right away, but
Akira's Battlecry is super expensive, but when you think about it, like, it costs 11 to get 3 of these out, so 22 round 2, that's going to be 6 guys out. Then your Akira's Battlecry.
You're also not counting any discounts or spawn point.
Yeah, no, it's
channel.
exactly.
You can get them a lot cheaper than 11.
And then you have 6 guys out round 2, and then you Akira's Battlecry. Suddenly they're fast, and each of those guys is going to be doing 4 dice each by round 3. And like you can, of course, it's not going to be that quick and stuff like that, but suddenly you have this force that's super dangerous, really quickly. And like I've never seen Akira's Battlecry really work well, but I think as like a rush strategy, it might be something like that is dangerous to
That
consider.
to work once. But
I think the way these guys are costed, I see them as like mini attack spells. If you can get one attack off with each of them, great. You've
It's
already
worth
got
it.
your bang for your buck. If you get more than one, it's amazing.
Yeah.
the trick is getting them out there when you can get an attack off of each one.
Yeah.
So that's why I think spawning other soldiers first that are more sturdy and can guard are going to be beneficial. Like these guys, again, will combo very well with Noble Vanguard.
A lot
And
of things combo well with the Noble Vanguard.
I mean, he's a good guy. And
Yeah,
if you're
he
running
is.
Noble Vanguards, you probably want to run Ethereal Life Tree also. And then all of a sudden, they basically double their health.
It's
And
not a bad point. Yeah.
you know,
Well-
the cheapest you can get these out for is 6 mana, I think. You get 3 off your barracks, you can get the discount from the cape, you can get the discount from the ring, and then you got 4 mana for the last one, 2 mana for the second one.
Well, I think also these guys can be resource generation for the paladin, because you can get a bunch of them out challenge.
Oh, interesting.
And then
yeah.
if they want to take out your swarm of dudes throwing 4 attack dice, they're going to be giving you something for it.
Or the other thing is you could do Altar of Carnage.
Altar of Carnage is a great card with this.
Because there's a lot of little dudes making a lot of little attacks.
Getting a mana per attack, and suddenly you're at 3 extra attacks the next round.
Yep.
As long as you're doing damage with them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to the next one.
Yeah, just a note really quick. Akiro's game in Academy may not be bad with these guys as well. Just because they're all low cost and putting a stagger on their big dude might actually be worth it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, especially if they're playing a buddy mage. If they're playing the Mageddon opening or Juicet opening,
yeah,
stagger that guy.
Two dice, you know?
That worked.
All right.
Unfortunately, your Kyro's game is going to get dispersed pretty much immediately.
Yeah, unfortunately, but
Run another one. Wait.
Hey, if they're wasting a full action on getting rid of your Akiro's game, great. That means they didn't summon a creature that round.
True.
And they did get the stagger, you know.
And you're ahead. Yep.
So we're moving to level 2, Witchwood Ranger.
Strict upgrade to the Kelsar Ranger. A little bit more expensive, a little bit more dice, a little bit more health.
Solid.
What do we think?
Solid. Nothing flashy. I think these guys go well in that pack that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, people have been asking for a level 2 ranger or archer for a long time. Like, you have the Goblin Alchemist, but his costs, it gets very weird with
And
what he can do.
the full action attacks on the Alchemist. Just don't compare 3 dice quick attack on here.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
And
very different jobs. This one's there to throw down dice. The Alchemist's there to really do the effects that go along with his attacks.
And 7 mana is such a weird cost for a creature that she just kind of hits in an interesting spot.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
When you look at Academy, that's a round's channeling. So, I mean, no matter what you did last round, you can still get this creature out.
Right. And in Arena, usually it's you have enough to do that and a quick cast, like an enchantment or a cheap pair of leather, something or other, too.
Right.
Or battle orders.
Or battle orders.
Yep.
I mean, at 7 life, most Academy creatures are doing like 2 or 3 dice. And so you're probably going to get at least 2 rounds of attacking out with this if they just focus on her specifically.
I actually am interested with her and Jokpari Beastmaster.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think she'd be really good.
Do things if you can do like cripple effects and stuff to keep them slowed, stopped, whatever, and flank them with these.
Oh yeah, they just keep moving to the side.
I think you only want to run 1 or 2 because if you want to get at least if you want to run the spawn point, she doesn't get popped off that one.
That's fair. I don't think they're the whole strategy. I think they add to an existing strategy.
I agree.
Obviously, they don't trigger any of the beast synergy.
Yeah, I mean,
animals.
I mean, her being able to combo with Sherwood Scout is a given. I mean, Fire at Will, you know, her getting Piercing 2 is pretty dang good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so compared to Temple Sharpshooter.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
What do you think?
So let's talk Academy first on this comparison. Temple Sharpshooter versus her in Academy, I think it's pretty much a wash.
I don't have a sharpshooter in front of me.
Because full action versus quick action in Academy is negligible.
Yeah.
What is the Temple Sharpshooter? Is like 1 more mana and has
8
armor?
mana. 8 mana, 1 armor, piercing 1. I think is the difference.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, for that 1 more mana, I think that the Temple Sharpshooter, if it's in school, is probably even a better option slightly for 1 more mana, getting those additions.
For basically everybody else, I like this one better.
Yep. And then in Arena, though, I think hands down, Witchwood Ranger is a better option because of the quick
Pretty close
spell.
to every case.
Would you take her as a Warlord in Arena?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I wanted to have a goblins firing line, and like, you can have goblins and rangers, and they can support each other.
Yeah.
Like,
You mean the slingers?
That's insane. Yeah, slingers.
Yeah.
Slingers and rangers supporting each other. That's insane.
Yeah,
You
'cause
could
they're
field
the
an
same cost.
entirely ranged army.
Right.
On
I will
2
say-
different steep hills.
This is the same story as the other 2 Rangers or Wood Elf Archers that we've seen.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing it out again. So when you're looking to buff your soldiers and you're giving them ranged bonuses, people with full action attacks and a quick melee are losing their bonuses when you move into their zone. These guys can either shoot you point blank or step back and shoot you from 1 zone away. There's a huge mobility attack advantage with these. at close range versus someone with a full action 1 to 2 ranged attack.
Yeah,
Range
the
1 to 2.
ability to
That's
fall
really
back
interesting. Yeah.
is pretty huge too, because I don't know too many people who are going to go chasing off after level 2 weakling if your real target is in the zone where the melee's happening.
Especially something that a standard level 2 attack won't kill. Like you wouldn't hurl a boulder, even though like it would, but like the mana cost difference, you're like the boulder's not worth it against the ranger.
Generally speaking, I agree.
But all
Unless
the
the
other
ranger's
ones
somehow
are-
doing a ton of damage to you.
The rock might be worth it though.
Yeah,
Maybe
five,
that's a rock that's not going to your face.
4 mana for the 5 dice.
One
If
less
you have
rock
buffs
going to your
going,
face.
if you have like Hawkeye
Yeah.
or something, I could see it. But overall, they're very strong in arena. In my,
Yep.
my
I'm a
opinion.
fan.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much more to talk about this card. It's
I
just
mean,
a generic card.
you can stagger the ranger line with the goblin line and keep people from getting to your goblins by putting the rangers ahead. Like you move the ranger in and you can still shoot, and now they're hindered for getting to your goblins.
If that buys
Now,
an extra round.
I'd rather use a melee character to do it, but
And I do think a big advantage of them over the level 1 counterpart is they can take a hit. They're most likely not going to die in one attack.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I dig that a lot too. Alright, moving on. Harshforge Construct.
I love this little
Oh, this card is so cool.
I'm
we
a
did
fan of
spoil
the
this
robot.
one.
What's that?
And we did spoil this one, and
Yes.
like we said, the Straywood Scout makes it so that he's getting 5 dice. So you could theoretically kill some pretty nasty enchantments with this guy.
I actually, my favorite book to run this in is not Warlord and Academy. It's Force Master, because you can redistribute power onto it and give it +2.
Yep.
Sneaky.
That is
Yep.
pretty awesome, actually.
I mean, the sweeping strike is really good with this guy because if there's
that's a good
multiple enchantments out or multiple gator toughnesses or I don't know, something like that, you can hit 2 things and get rid of some enchantments.
Yeah.
I will note that in Academy, there's only like 1 or 2 enchantments that like if assuming they have 0 armor, you wouldn't statistically take out with this guy.
Now, I think
I'm trying to think of a couple here.
Like Iguana
It's-
Regrowth is like one of the few
don't you
exceptions
still
and
get to
stuff like that.
destroy it even if you won't be doing full damage? Like it doesn't take armor into account.
It does not,
No.
though. In
Oh, it
testing,
doesn't?
it did at one point. The current version does not take
I'm
armor into
wrong.
account.
That's even better. So you'll probably take out most.
Yeah.
Like
So
pretty
on
much,
average, you get rid of their gator toughness.
yeah, unless there's like an Iguana Regrowth on like a level 3 creature, you will probably take out most of the things. The only one I can think of is Giant Growth, which is a 5 on
See.
average.
The-
The only thing I
the-
can think of is curse item because you can't punch it.
No, yeah, that's not even targetable.
The
so,
biggest
you
the
know.
biggest thing with this guy though is I think once he comes out, he's a huge stagger target because he's a level 2. If you take his actions away,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah, I
he
can
has,
see that.
I mean, he has relatively low life for a 8-cost creature.
Does Galvanize only target a living creature?
Yes.
Dang it.
I believe.
currently in
definitely does.
Academy,
I
the
broke
only thing that
No, I'm sorry.
only thing-
Galvanizes corporeal. What am I saying?
is it.
Yeah,
it's
it galvanizes
at least-
definitely corporeal.
it's at
I'm
least
pulling it out. Hang on.
Because like I remember being like Iron Golems.
No, dude, it was way better on a fire elemental when it was
The
still
fire,
not.
fire elemental, yes.
It doesn't
It's
do
like,
that
I'm
anymore.
gonna
Dude,
surging wave.
Shark, that's when you switch to Force Master and put redistributed power on your fire elemental.
Yeah, no,
Oh, that's a nice slam you put on it with the surging wave that's inevitable. Oh, hey, well, why don't I just get rid of it with Galvanize?
I get it.
No, that doesn't happen anymore, unfortunately. Let's see. I think I have it in here. Galvanize, corporeal.
yeah,
Nice.
because it's the one oddball of the holy.
So yeah, that'd be a good way to stop a stagger.
And you're
Um,
probably going to have one in your book anyway, as a warlord.
I would.
So as a note, the reason Galvanize is corporeal is at one point in time it was a war spell, and then it was war and then it was war or holy, and then it was holy, and that never got changed because thematically, holy should only target living, but it is what it is.
At one point, it targeted creature.
That would have
believe
been
you're
awesome.
completely correct.
I think
That's
that
what
was a mistake in the
A
playtest.
what
of
is
that.
that?
Stunned wraith.
A lot
You're
of things when they
fine.
first go into testing though are extremely overpowered because something minor like that is overlooked.
Oh yeah, it's really easy to find.
But yeah, there are definitely ways to bump this guy up in power level, and he's just really good utility.
So I would like to point out that there is a card in Warlock that is a war card, and I think this guy goes well with it, and that is the Sneak Attack card, which gives you Elusive, Piercing 2, and I think that wouldn't be bad with Harshforge Construct if you look at it as like a Dispel, but if a Dispel doesn't actually work, then you still get
still doing more
Piercing
damage.
2, and it's like it's getting something through.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of like Sneak Attack sort of becomes either Dispel or more damage with this guy, and I think comboing them together gives you all sorts of options.
The interesting thing would be, I think, never mind. Sweeping Strike was what I was thinking of.
Sweeping Strikes is good. I mean,
So this
Kill
guy,
something.
this guy in general
Gem.
is interesting.
Gem.
Just want to point out because he is in War School, but he doesn't synergize with any of the War School stuff. He's not a
Right.
soldier.
yeah,
Construct.
He's not living, which I know is not a direct War School thing, but almost every war creature, I believe every other war creature other than this is living. I could be wrong.
Golem?
So
No.
Golems are
no,
Earth.
he's Earth.
I said never mind, yeah.
So yeah, so
you're
he's
right.
kind of
Right.
unique. I think he actually offers a lot to a lot of other schools, even though you're paying 4 spell points for him, especially in Academy and Arena, maybe not so much. But
sorry.
Academy for sure, because sometimes it could be the extra disperse you may need, or disperse equivalent.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
disperses are like at a premium when it comes to Academy.
he is
So-
10% of your Academy book out of school. Just pointing it out.
That's true.
So he's most likely not a 2 of out of school. Honestly, in school, he's most likely not a 2 of. He's still most likely you're just running 1.
Yeah.
Paladin auras affect friendly creatures, right?
Yes.
Not
That's
friendly
right,
living
so-
creatures or anything like that.
Oh,
So you could give him +1 with the Vengeance aura.
I don't know.
True.
off the top
I
of my
think the most in testing, we tried to make him as ridiculous as possible. I think someone figured out in Arena how to get him up to 10 dice at one point.
head. It's totally possible.
It might have been 9.
With Bloodwave, you can give him a vet token as well,
That's
which
true.
is really nice.
Yes, and I think it was Bloodwave. I think it was a vet token, Mark for Death.
Straywood Scout,
Straywood
Galvanized.
Straywood Scout.
and then the
And then you can
Galvanize is a good one.
put incantations on him to give him bonuses like Power
oh
Strike.
yeah,
Power Strike, yeah.
So you can get him up there in Arena, but he's still only 7 life.
Yeah,
So
I mean-
he's squishy. You got to make sure make it count. But hypothetically, you could take out a force field with him fully buffed.
It's so crazy. I mean, I don't think it's worth
Doesn't
super
the,
buffing
the
this guy
attack
at
gets
all.
canceled though?
Yeah, it's not worth super buff. Oh,
Well, I mean, if you
Well, you
get
never
it to
roll
the
in the
point
first
where it
place,
doesn't
but-
have any tokens left.
Yes, it has to
Then
have
you
no
can-
tokens on it. That is
okay.
important to note.
I mean, it's not worth doing that. But like honestly, like for your typical like
Shenanigans are fun.
Wolf Fury, Gator Toughness, you know, the spells you see very commonly. I think that's what you bring this guy for.
So I'd like to say that somebody pointed out in the first stream that we did to reveal cards that you can actually use this guy to destroy curses on your own mage.
Yeah, like I was thinking earlier, Theft
Yes,
of Life.
it is a
weird.
gamble though.
He punches at you.
It's a little bit of gamble, but yeah, like you said, Theft of Life is only 3, right?
That's one of the best targets I
Statistically,
can think
I mean,
I'd still probably buff him a die or 2 just to make sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
Nah,
with
I'd probably just punch myself.
that.
All right, what else we got?
Let me ask you guys a quick question before we move on. Like, would you guys target this guy the minute you see him come out?
Well, depends
Yeah,
on the book we're in, but yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
In Academy, definitely. In Arena, questionably.
Okay.
I don't
Depends
use
how important
very
enchantments
many
are.
enchantments. Because he can only kill revealed enchantments, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for instance, my priestess, I use Circle of Protection,
Okay.
which is
Yeah.
not on an object, and I use Divine Reversal. which is gone as soon as you reveal it
Yeah.
anyway. So I wouldn't give two thoughts to having somebody having a Hearthswords plate out there,
Right.
or Hearthswords Golem out there.
Something we're not talking about here, because I think it's only a promo card currently, and I mean we have more in testing that who knows when they'll come out.
Yeah.
Is enchantments that go on conjurations.
Oh.
He can take those out too. He can take out a
that's
reinforce.
interesting.
It's true, because it just is object.
I'm going to leave this off
It has
with...
to be an object you can attack, so it has to be something with.
Yeah, it can't be a zone or
life.
something weird.
So, final note, charging this guy is also very good. Moving on. Archforge Knight.
I'm up and down on this guy.
This guy's so...
He's an ultimate shenanigan combo card.
Right.
I mean, Okay, does he hurt you more than help you? Discuss.
Nah.
You have
Like-
to build your book around
Yeah,
him if you
exactly.
use him.
Exactly. You build
feel
your
like
book
it-
around him.
A couple of these guys with the battle orders, and they're good.
Battle Orders affects him, and the
These
formations
battle
do as
orders
well.
do affect them.
As long as you don't
As long
target
as-
him
yeah.
with formations, he is
Yes, it
effective.
has to be on another soldier in the zone. But yeah, I've seen. I think Koshade was championing this at one point during testing. Was building him with formations, zone enchantments,
Right.
battle orders,
So
royal
it
armor.
was,
Put
it
an
was,
armor on him.
Yeah, it was royal armor with the... What is that?
Circle of protection.
Circle of protection
right.
that gives him another armor. And
Oh,
then you
yeah.
You're healing him
have...
with the free action heal staff.
And then the free action heal staff, and then you have the formations for whatever's appropriate. And you can, like, basically
Yeah, it was
kind
pretty
of
easily.
heal passively, have 3 armor, or 4 depending on which formation you want to use, or otherwise you're just kind of just ripping things apart. Oh, that was such a fun build. Thank you for reminding me.
Group-
It was
of
pretty.
that.
It was pretty legit in Academy.
Group men doesn't target either, right?
Group Mend, no, it doesn't.
Targets
does.
the zone,
Yeah.
so yes, he
Group
can be
mend.
healed by group.
So he
I
can be
believe.
healed by group men.
He's so fun. I mean,
I think you can
I
use the
mean-
unicorn, Academy
oh
unicorn
yeah,
to heal him too.
you're right.
Yeah. Academy Unicorn will work.
I'm looking up group
The
man.
Broken Wing Angel, of course. That's another way you can heal.
Yep, that's true. Broken Wing Angel,
So-
get him.
If you're not planning to use him, like if you're not planning your book to use him, he can be a disadvantage to you.
Yeah.
But in most cases, you're going to be at least planning a handful of spells to use in conjunction with him, and in which case, he's a bigger boon to you than a hindrance to your opponent.
Now he
Yeah.
can't. He has 4 dice, and those 4 dice cannot be tangle rooted. Right. So
Correct.
it's always going to get those 4 dice.
It's awesome. I mean,
And,
Unless you can stagger him. But
you
yeah,
can stagger him. You
can
can
stagger.
stagger him,
Yeah, you
and
definitely can.
that is an issue. So you can't cure him, and you can't galvanize him. So if
Stagger
he
is an
gets,
issue for dang near every creature in this.
yeah,
Well,
kind of
but
a
you
standard.
can
Yeah.
fix it for most creatures. For this creature, you can't. There's no real way to fix it.
You can't really galvanize it.
Mm.
No galvanize, no cure, and that is pretty much all of the ways in Academy that you can get rid of stagger.
He's still pretty strong in the right books, though. You're right. If you
I
build the book
definitely-
around him,
I definitely saw a couple times in testing where weeks destroyed him.
Oh
Get
yeah.
2 or 3 weeks
you're
on
right.
him, and he was just done. He was
Yeah.
a chump blocker at that point in time.
yeah, the snakes were really good for that.
Is there any way to give him unavoidable? No, we lost track.
No,
I don't think there is either.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, you'd want to take something else. I think you definitely want to have something else out with him.
Actually, there is a way if you kill everything else that's opposing him.
You give him
Maybe
unavoidable.
use one.
Whatever. He still doesn't get through repulsion field.
I don't know if there's much more to talk about with him in Academy. So so Arena. First thing I think about is Paladin.
Yeah, auras.
Auras.
But the only thing I really think about, maybe a Holy Avenger, but
I mean, you can
Can't be a
both
holy
ways.
avenger. He's not a holy creature.
You can make him a vet. You
Good
can give
point.
him a vet token if you do get a kill, which is nice.
Yep. Vet tokens.
Armory.
Fortified position.
Yeah.
Armory.
Battle standard cannot target him, but can give him bonuses.
Boom.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
that is
Yeah.
Maktari can heal him.
I guess in light of that,
You can obviously get plus life from the plus life tree.
Yep.
I actually have a quick question. No, wait. I answered it. Never mind.
Downside in arena though is things like Tanglevine can still hit him.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he's a
Can't
prime target for Tanglevine, and you can't
Yeah.
teleport him out.
Well, yeah, but still, I mean, he rolls 4 dice. He's gonna get out of there in a couple turns anyway. And if they're Tanglevining him, they're not Tanglevining you.
Yeah, and he's still only level 2 in
guy.
arena.
Okay, this is like.
I
just
do think he rivals level 2 standards in arena though. Like, you look at him compared to the baseline we always do as Timberwolf when we talk about level 2s. I think in the book, when you're planning on using him correctly, he exceeds the power level of a Timberwolf.
I think
Yeah.
he has the potential.
In a Warlord for sure. I would compare him with Orc Busher in a Warlord though. He has 2 fewer life and cannot get formations put on him. So
He's a good combo with the Butcher. I wouldn't say run
Right.
one over the other though.
no, yeah, I would mix him up too.
I mean, it depends on what you're doing with your book. You know, it's very similar.
think the thing with formations that you can do is obviously put it on something beefier than him in the same zone, so that it's gonna be harder for them to get rid of the formation.
Yeah.
All
Cool.
right.
Okay,
Cool.
yeah, I mean, I think
Let's
it's
move
pretty much
on.
this guy. Yeah. This is the one we all love. He's in Bila. Daughter of Badgers, which we've already told the story in the spoilers. It's not going to that.
Yeah, go watch the spoiler video if you want the story, the playtesting story about this card.
So
She's
I mean,
pretty strong, man.
she's an animal if you're nature, a soldier if you're war. This is such a cool dual class card. Let's talk about Academy.
Piercing 2 is great in Academy.
God, Piercing 2.
Great in Academy.
So good.
And you know what she can be targeted by? Badger Frenzy.
Yep. If you're a nature mage.
Yeah, I mean, double strike, 4 dice, Piercing 2 is insane. Like, you can
Yeah.
just rip through stuff.
She can also be targeted by sweeping strike and pay less mana for it.
Yep.
You can give her focus strike.
Press
You
the
can give her
attack,
formations.
yeah.
I'm just putting out here you could do Badger Frenzy with Sweeping Strike.
This one is definitely an accurate card to compare to Timberwolf, and I think in any book that is
Oh,
running Timberwolves currently, you drop one of them for Zambila.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that.
She's
awesome.
missing 1 armor and gaining piercing 2, basically.
I mean, you can't make her a pet.
She's also legendary, so you can't spam her. But
Yeah.
She doesn't get the canine synergy if that's what you're really going for.
Oh,
so
yeah,
there are
that's
some
true.
cases where you wouldn't, but honestly, alone Badger Frenzy alone with her, which is the reason she was created. Watch that video. Is amazing.
yeah.
I just want to say that as soon as I saw this card pop up in the playtesting folder, I messaged Aaron right away and I was like, you
Yes.
did this to salvage Badger Frenzy's art, didn't you? I was totally right.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
This actually was a big point of contention about that when we were making it. There were about 50-50. Some people were like, you can't give a humanoid
Yes,
the animal
yes.
subtype. I'm like, why not?
That's awful.
Watch me.
Legendary was required in order to do it. I agree with that.
It's all good.
I mean, so let's just talk about some cards in Academy with the Beastmaster first. Obviously, Badger Frenzy, really good choice. Sweeping Strike if you want to attack multiple things.
How about
Um,
joint strength?
That's a
Join
good one.
Strength to
Panther
give her that
Stealth.
extra melee.
Panther
And to
Stealth,
keep her
whatever
alive
it's called.
longer.
Panther Self, she is minor, so like all of those minor things that get discounts and stuff. I know I was rolling Wolf Fury to get 5 dice piercing 3, which basically like it just kind of crushes higher level.
Give her
Buddy
iguana
builds.
regrowth. I mean,
might
Any
as well,
buff
yeah.
at all
Yeah,
is great on her.
she's just insane. I mean, the Pack Leader's Cowl to give her the guard. So suddenly they're like, do I really want to attack into a 4 dice piercing 2?
so let me really
Creature.
quickly hit the pros and cons of her in Academy. Pros being she is minor, so she is capable of getting all those awesome discounts or enchantments that only target minor.
Yeah.
That's huge because she quickly becomes a more bang for your buck creature than a level 3 that's costed a couple mana higher than her. However, the disadvantage is that she's minor, and she's also
Stagger,
susceptible to stagger and any negative effects that only target minor creatures.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a boon for both players that she is targetable by all those things, and she hits above her weight class for sure.
I think she would lose a fight to Aurora, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can never see that.
Isn't Aurora literally built to kill people like her?
Well, I'm just saying, she's had some super awesome stats for being level 2 creatures. Like, she's top of the food chain level 2 creature.
True.
But the Aegis 2 and the ability to completely ignore her.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
when she's fighting minors, she's just amazing.
Yeah.
But, and to be fair, in Beastmaster, most of your creatures are minor anyway, so you're already at a disadvantage against Aurora and Academy with Beastmaster. There aren't a lot of bigger options.
That's why you run attack spells.
So why don't we talk about the War School with her?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
She is an ultimate buddy character, her or Torgo.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to.
Or both.
If you want to go a buddy build in Academy, they're both. You can run both.
That's so fun.
I
would prefer her as a second buddy.
It depends what you're fighting, you know? If, like, she's super good with just, like, with Sweeping Strike. Again, she can just sort of, like, 4 dice piercing 2, 4 dice piercing 2. That can kill a lot of things pretty fast.
But if they open with something like double eye Vita Jet, you're definitely not going to want to make her your opening.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not at all. Yeah.
She'd just be staggered to death. Literally.
I mean, with formations...
but she is amazing against Mageddon.
Yeah, she's
saying.
Yes, there were definitely some games in testing where Mageddon didn't get to act, and it was because of her or Torgo, either one beating Mageddon into the ground before he fully spawned.
Yep.
I mean, so with your battle orders, you can make her have 5. You can make her have 6 if you give her the formation,
and you can still pack Wolf Fury.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you have a Royal Armor. She can have 2 armor, she's basically Timberwolf, like, stronger at that point in time.
Yeah. I think she synergizes well with both mages, depending on the book.
Yeah.
It's just an all-around really good creature.
I don't know if there's much more to add about Arena either.
Well, honestly, with her, the only thing I'll note is outside of those 2 schools, she's not especially good.
True.
She's probably
because if you're running her out of school, you're not getting her box at all. You're not getting her text.
Yeah, it's so true. I think that's pretty much all about her. I mean, there's obviously a ton of combos we could talk about, but
there's a bunch of people crossing their fingers for the day we release a mage that's trained in both war and nature.
The synergy! Alright. Pick me to Tanadon.
Dude, there's an elephant now.
I mean, coming out the gate...
It's an Alpha Striker.
Yeah, I mean, you can have 7 dice on the first attack with him if you want. Or 7 dice whenever you want to place that charge token. Oh, no, I'm sorry, you have to remove it, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the first attack.
Yeah, first attack.
The big weakness on this is if they somehow cancel that first attack.
Oh, that would be brutal.
Yeah.
Because you lose the tokens.
Yeah.
But, I mean, 7 dice right away, and then a really strong blocker the whole time.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those cards that I don't know if I ever actually, like, really played this more than 1 or 2 times. Just because, like, I was really interested in a lot of the other creatures.
It's significantly overshadowed by the other 12-cost creature in the set.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's true. I think this creature in and of itself is very well balanced.
Yeah.
I just don't know... I don't know how much of a place it has in war, because of it being an animal, not being a soldier. If it was a soldier, if it was war or nature, it would be stronger.
War nature. Yeah.
And that was something we dabbled with in testing. And at one point, it was 3 war or 3 nature, and it was argued that it was too good in nature at that point. So we did like a 2 war and 1 nature, and then nobody was going to run it in Warlord. So this is what it came to.
It's just kind of an interesting card. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, obviously, a 4 dice attack is pretty good for 12 mana. There's probably better choices, but
in retrospect, I would have liked to add a way for it to get another charge token, like taking its full action to gain another one.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
I see that.
the tough -2 is nice. You know, like a lot
It's
of people.
solid. It's just it's not Torgo.
That's
Fair
not-
enough.
It is also
isn't that
not
your
fair
answer
enough.
for-
It is also not legendary.
Yeah.
That's your answer for every creature in the set, though, Shark. It's
Hey,
not
my
Torgo.
inner Timmy loves Torgo, right?
Let's try to wrap this up quick, I guess. Would you guys ever take it for a pet?
No.
No.
Not for 6 spellbook points.
I mean, like compared to like Titanodan, like.
I
Titanodan.
wouldn't
Would
take
take that one
Titanodan either.
That's worth.
Okay.
I might
that's fair.
I might run it to combine with Kajara on a Warlord in Arena.
Oh, that's interesting, actually. Huh.
That was
Maybe
a
a
combo
quick
that was
melee.
talked about
Yeah.
because Kajara is becoming slightly popular with some Warlord builds in Arena, and this is an in-school way to take advantage of the proc.
That's actually a really cool idea.
Yeah, that's not bad. Actually, that wouldn't be bad in Academy either. Actually,
You can Bloodwave Vet token this guy,
Yeah.
and then moving that together with Kajara would make it a formidable force.
I think the Kajara thing primarily though is Steep Hill, Anvil Throne
Yeah.
combo,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't play that build. I've just seen it played a couple times.
All right. Moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on. What card are we seeing, Shark?
Torgo.
Vitro.
I love Torgo the Troll.
It's because you're
Yeah,
a
this
troll.
card is lame. Just skip over it.
All right.
Yeah,
Shark.
it's designed by some lame guy too.
Speaking
Shark,
of trolls,
you should talk first, man. Just talk about it.
What? Oh, dude, 5 dice beat stick with Regen 2. Thank you.
And tough mice too.
Biggest regen in Academy worth noting.
Yeah, you give him slight amounts of armor. You pair him with a royal
Yeah.
armor and dug in. Or is it dug in?
Crazy.
Dig
Dig in.
in.
Yeah, dug in.
3 armor, Regen 2 in Academy. Okay, yes, please.
He's so if you were
You
not
splash out of school
yeah,
for Wolf,
like-
you give him piercing, and suddenly this dude is just smacking things left and right, and nothing.
Well, he's also
Built.
a great target to put formations on because they're not going to be able to handle him easily. I've seen people use him with Harsh Forge Knights, and you put the formation on Torgo.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's
It's
meta
really
intensive
good.
as hell, but it's awesome when it works.
I mean,
yeah.
almost any of the command incantations are really good, like sweeping strike. The other ones.
You know, it's a fun one.
Five dice baseline.
It's a
is-
fun one. It's a
unavoidable.
fun thing to do. If you have a buffed up Torgo, you put Defend Me on him and catch a Force Master who's about to strike you for a ton of damage off guard. They do some damage to him. He smacks him back for 7 dice, and then regens half of what he had happen to him.
Yeah, no, I think this is definitely like in the realm of how you see Mageddon work, and that is like you have to have a plan for him because he is such a strong single creature that if you
Yeah.
don't have a plan for him, you will just lose to him. And
It
you
should
have to,
surprise. Yeah, it should surprise nobody that my Mageddon Warlock and my Torgo Warlord run similarly.
Oh yeah, oh they absolutely do.
They're very similar creatures in a lot of ways.
Like he
I
kind
will,
of.
I will point out the biggest weakness of him is that he's 4 spellbook points, even though he's a level 3 creature.
Yep.
Interesting.
He has 1/10 of your book, but if that 1/10 of your book manages to kill 50% of their book, then it's way worth it.
Dude's a beast.
I mean, the common way that I know we took care of it was just throwing fire streams at it and praying for the best. And like, yeah, the burn
Staggers
was,
helped a bit.
yeah,
Some of the weeks.
like
the
burns,
weeks were a pain too, but in
Yeah.
all of those cases, actually, the tough -2 really comes into play.
I
Yeah, it
really
really
like
does.
Theft of Life on him because he regenerates 2. There's
That
a
was
good
one of my
chance
favorite
you're
ways to
going to
do it,
get
too.
it every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not minor, so obviously like you can't do all sorts of fun buffs that you can with these Zimbala, like I don't know,
You can still do a bunch of
Searing
fun
Touch
buffs.
or Vampiric, stuff like that.
Right. But he's also immune to a lot of the negative stuff that only targets minor creatures.
That's very true. Yeah.
I liked when I ran with him, or when I rebuild him, he'll be a Wolf Fury kind of battle orders buffing mostly. Add those two, like that's 7 dice piercing 1 in Academy.
Wolf Fury's so good.
Cast something, go ahead.
Hey, nobody can run away from you either.
Right.
I like
Angry
the
Troll to be in the same zone with.
This is why I will have 3 symbiotic orbs.
Just, no.
he's a prime target for Focus Strike too. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
So
He's a prime target whenever he comes out, doesn't matter what he does.
I mean, with your Warlord, if you do something like Gear Up and then, get the helmet with the Halberd, you can start doing the battle orders, and suddenly it's worth that extra little mana so that you both are hitting harder. Like, he syncs really well with the Warlord in particular. Would you take him in a Beastmaster Academy?
I'd probably take Isambila.
Okay.
Yeah, I would take Isabella first. I don't think he's bad.
No, it's just they're taking the same spot.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think
Well,
Isabella's
part of his benefit though is we've talked about this with Beastmasters. There's not a lot of big creatures for Beastmaster. He might
That's
be
true.
a good option there still.
But give
I
him
mean,
the
he's
choice
still 5
between-
spell points, but
I can't believe I'm saying this. You give him the choice between 5 points for Torgo and 6 for the Titanodan at this point. I think I'd probably take the
Interesting.
Titanodan.
Because the combos.
Because you can
Yeah.
Kanjar that or knife it.
So in a strictly Beastmaster only lens, I don't think I'd take him.
How about Arena? You
Lord.
want to talk about that?
I could see him being useful in Arena too. I don't know if he's nearly as wrecking face, but
I mean, obviously,
I
compared to
mean-
Bridge Troll, you have a tough difference, with fire especially.
I think he'll be really good when there's a slightly bigger threat also on the board. Because he actually will hit above his weight class for a 3. He'll hit as hard as a 4. Or bigger. Like, you get another Bridge Troll, or you get, I don't know, something big. Talos.
obviously that
Just put
hypothetical
Talos
mage,
on the field.
the hypothetical war nature mage obviously is when if that ever exists, he's going to be an auto include in that.
That'd be like a
Yeah.
bard, a bard
But
or
right
something,
now
a
for
barbarian.
war mages,
I don't know.
I like him a lot, but there are a lot of other things that compete with him for 4 spell points.
Yeah.
I don't think he's an auto include, but I think he's something to consider.
He's an interesting combo with Thorg. If you can afford that
Thor?
somehow.
Interesting. Okay.
Because you have Thorg out there guarding and taunting with Torgo just smashing whatever comes after him.
Yeah, and he's not
How
the
do you-
main reason that I would take Torgo in Arena is for the 12 mana cost for the 5 dice, and to have something that isn't just going to get set on fire.
Yeah.
Like the
Well,
Those
Bridge
would be
Troll,
the two reasons I would take
I
it.
mean,
Depends on
and
who
he-
plays.
And he adds well to any platoon of soldiers out there. He's a good addition.
Yeah.
He's
I
going to
agree with
get
that.
buffs if you're group buffing a bunch of soldiers with battle orders or formations.
He's good for his
He's
cost,
gonna be
but
in
he's
the-
not good on his own.
Yes. He's not a buddy. He's not big enough to be a buddy in Arena. Like,
No.
in Academy,
yeah, I
totally a
agree.
buddy, though.
Huh.
Still love him. Torgo's a good guy.
Yeah, I think
I
there's just a
still-
ton of combos we could talk about. There's vet
Pick a
tokens,
buff.
armory. Like pick your combo with him. And he's just kind of the standard awesome dude. And he's a spell point cheaper than the Bridge Troll for like a
Yep.
Warlord.
The 5 dice are really what make him, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
And it's easily buffable 5 to plus 5 more.
Yeah.
Or not 5 more, but it's 5 plus. Just because the Warlord can really put down some melee plus pretty easily.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna conclude it.
There's all the creatures that come in Warlord Academy, and you can stay tuned for more stuff
They're awesome.
in our next installment.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Everyone that came here, you guys are all awesome. Feel free to leave a comment, asking questions if you don't understand something. We'll get back to you. Bye, guys.